This video will show you how to use pointed to quickly spin up a simple mock HTTP endpoint with a fixed response. Our example single-page app is for managing and displaying exquisite T's. Right now we're hard-coding the T data in the client, and eventually it will come from a backend service, but the backend service doesn't exist yet. Still, we'd like to clean up this brittle hard-coding to be able to build a more realistic client that fetches the data from across the network. Then, when the real backend exists, we can just swap it in. So let's sign up for pointed. First, we'll create a mock API server called T's. Next, we need an HTTP endpoint. Our app will make a GET request to the T's path. And when that request is made, we'd like the server to respond with a status of 200. Nothing fancy for the headers besides indicating a JSON response and the T data for the response body. Our endpoint is instantly deployed, shareable, and ready to serve requests. Let's copy its URL and see for ourselves. Looks pretty good. Now let's make a couple tweaks in our T app. Delete the hard-coded data and instead fetch it from pointed. The app already reloaded because we're using Create React app, which hooked us up with hot module reloading. Looking at the network tab, we can see that the T's were fetched and then displayed. Sweet. Using mock endpoints in this way allows us to build and iterate on client-side products faster. If your use case is this simple, you might be able to get away with using mocky.io, which is kind of like a paste bin for HTTP responses, or even an S3 bucket. If you don't need to deploy and share the endpoint, there are all kinds of other options for things you could do on your local machine. The next videos will take a look at more complex and realistic use cases, which is where pointed really shines.